Vehine Vav Bechinos Elu Shisa Sidrei Mishnah. Now these 6 concepts of the 6 orders of the Mishnah, Hem Ots Vav the Shem, they are the Vav of the letters of Hashem's name. Zehu Inyan Hakav Vechut Hanimshach Bevav Ksavos Tezir Anpin. This is the concept of the kav and chut from the tzimtzum, and the kav and that's drawn into creation. It's drawn into all the way into vav ksavos of ziranpin, the 6 sides of za. An mizeh b'biyori hazor parshas vayishlach al pasuk ki sharim darchi Hashem. Look what's brought in the Biori of the explanations of the Zohar of Parshas Vayishlach on the verse that the ways of Hashem are straightforward. V'hakli l'kol zeh zehurak Yiras Hashem utzaro, is only this idea of the fear of Hashem is his treasure. So that's the end of the pasuk. So the key to all, so the vessel for all of these 6 sedarim of the Mishnah of that are hinted to in the pasuk Emunas, Itecha, Shiur, Chachmas, v'das. So Yiras Hashem Yotzaro is the key to all this, the vessel that contain all these ideas. B'medrashah, Pash Mishpatim, Pash Lamed. Ki malchus nikra isha Yiras Hashem, because the malchus is called the woman who's fearing Hashem. Salal, who should be praised. Ubadavka nimshacha Ohr Hatorah Tzaddik, and specifically in her is drawn this light that's sown from the tzaddik. So the tzaddik, which is the culmination of the 6 sides of Zah that corresponds to these Shisa Sidrei Mishnah, goes into malchus Tizraim of the sowing from Zraim. And specifically in the malchus in koach hatzumeach shebaretz latzmiach moadei hatfua has the ability to grow the holidays of the produce. That's so Zraim and Moed is Zraim sown into malchus, and malchus grows it. Vehaya and also through malchus you have the chus and yeshuos. Below Yiras Hashem, which is not the case without the fear of Hashem in Atfua, Nizra b'sadeh shir baruch Hashem. So the produce is not planted in the field that Hashem is blessed. In fact, you have the opposite, the negative field, the field of how he found her in the field and raped her. Ein Zohar Parshas Chaye Daf Kuf Kav Beis Amud Aleph U'Kinyan Mashekas U'B'Makom Acher B'Inyan Teva Shel Noach. And look what's brought concerning the ark of Noach. Shal Yidei Zeh Davka Hayakiu Ma'olam Me'Bechinas Shefa the Noach Ish Tzadik, that was specifically through this going into the Teva, I guess, which corresponds with malchus. That's specifically how you had the flow of Noach Ish Tzadik, which corresponds with Yisod, to populate the world and give produce and children, specifically by going into the malchus. That's when you had, that was the kli for Noach Ish Tzadik to have children. So too here we had the concept of the tzaddik, of the zeroyat tzedakos into malchus, into the sada, asher baruch Hashem, v'kamo shekas b'zohar ish parshas Noach taf nun tes amud beis v'raz dau lifnan, that it says that this secret we learned, the Noach itztrich leteva lischabra ba, that Noach needed to unite with the teva, that the teva was nukva, that's feminine concept, while Noach was the masculine. That specifically to this unity the world is established. Comparable how the drop of the masculine waters needs to be grasped by the womb of the feminine. And through being there for 9 months, so the drop becomes changed to create a child, but with 248 limbs. That this ability is only in the womb of the feminine, because the end is tied into the beginning, the dafka, and the nukva. You have the ability to create something new. And just like in the earth, you have the strength to grow and sprout forth, to create something from nothing. Like it's brought in Siman Kaf in Tanya in the Yiras Kodesh, where it talks about the Maila of the to be matzmiach from the arts and dafka, the koach to create yesh ma'ayin is from malchus. And so you can understand allegorically above kadeshim mebichinas or zaru al tzadik yisod atzilas yom shacha lahaya bibiyah, that in order for this divine flow from Yisod and Tzaddik of the world of Atzilus should shine into the lower worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah, is not possible unless the light first is held back in the concept of Yisod of the feminine malchus Atzilus, which is the in between Atzilus and Bria. And through this specifically, you can have the revelation into the lower worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah. And if not, it won't be established at all in the lower worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah. So all the 6 Mishnahs and the order Zuru al-Tzadik has to first go into the Rechem and Nukva, the concept of Yisod of Nukva Atzilos, in order to have a revelation into the lower world. So you have to have the Kli of Yiras Hashem. And this is the concept of those who fell down into the earth. I guess they didn't have the they were not able to be established and stay in the Aretz because they didn't have they weren't they didn't go through the Rechem Hanukva, they didn't come through Yisod of Malchus. And so that's why they weren't Miskayim. Ein Belukutei Torah Parshas Vayeschanan b'dibur hamaschil man tira sham nispor gam ken nich shekolam shachas or me'esus firos te'atzilus b'biyai efshir lios ki mal yidei malchus tafka, that in Lekutei Torah Vayeschanan in the Mamar of don't, in order that you should fear Hashem, explains that all the divine flow from the 10 spheres of Atzilus into the lower worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah you cannot have unless you go through Malchus. V'zehu mitzvah asher tziva Hashem la'asos bar tztafka, and this is the mitzvah that Hashem specifically commanded to do on the earth, in the land. Meaning to say that you have to do it in the land, and if you want it to come down through Malchus of Atzilus into the lower worlds. Just like you cannot truly explain a deep idea unless you give an allegory, which is the malchus, and that's the concept of the allegories of Shlomo. Shlomo, who corresponds with Chachmat Atah, who had the 3,000 allegories and so forth. He was the one who specifically was able to bring down the intellect from above. So you have the idea that in order to bring down into Vehaya, you have to go through malchus. Now, as I just said about the pasuk of Shir Hashirim, that the allegory should not be light in your eyes. That through the allegory a person is able to stand upon the words of Torah and understand it. V'ayin b'Torah or Parshas Vayera b'dibur hamaschil pasach Eliyahu. Shimshir shamashal zawinyan apasa. Look in Torah, or that the allegory is a concept of the curtain hamafsek as ben Atzilus labria, in between the worlds of Atzilus and Bria, parsazun imshacha min bechinas malchus, and this curtain is drawn from the malchus, the concept of malchus in between the two worlds. So specifically, malchus of Atzilus is the one that can bring from Atzilus to Bria Find Sham Pashas Lech Lacha B'Dibra Maschil V'Hivdila Paroches Lachem, and look in the Mamar about how the curtain separates. L'chein al-idea malchus tafka nimshach me'hatzilus b'bi'ah, and therefore specifically through malchus you draw down from the world of Atzilus into the lower worlds of Bria, Tzir, and Asiyah. V'alderech ze'ah keser memutza bin ha'maitzil and etzolim v'nikra gam kim parses. So to in the higher level, the keser to the emanated, you have a curtain in between keser and the emanated. Bizor chelik aleph parshas noach taf samech yamad aleph. So it's the concept of the Esr Sfirot Saganuzis as well. And this is the concept of the ark of Noach. Through this specifically you had the establishment of the world, that it could last, that you shouldn't have anything falling down and not being established because it doesn't go through malchus. Vehaya, Emunas, Itecha, so too you can understand this idea of the shisha sedarim that correspond with the pasuk Emunas, Itecha, and so forth. Shisha sedarim Mishnah Shemvav Ksavos Te'atzilus, which correspond with the 6 sides of Ziran Pin of Atzilus Behem Meir Chachma, that shines into them the supernal wisdom of Chachma. But the vessel for this, who Yiras Hashem is the fear of Hashem, which is his treasure. Shiur, he bechinas malchus, that the fear is the concept of malchus. To fear from the King, the Holy One, blessed be He, Asher malchus kol olamim, that his kingship is the kingship of all worlds. That the main concept of acceptance for the yoke of heaven is the concept of fear. If so, the concept through the fear we draw down from malchus, that through it you will draw down the light below. Which is not the case with someone who says, I only have Torah. He doesn't even have Torah. He doesn't have Yiras Hashem, he doesn't have the malchus, he doesn't. So it's like the nefilim shayu ba'aretz ein mashakas sof dibra maschil vikach korach, that you have to have fear and Torah. Or Parshas. Further, we could say that this is like what it's brought in Torah or in Bereshis, that you have to have the seal of baruch, of blessing, when you're studying the oral Torah, like the pasuk, seal your Torah with those who study it, which is also this concept of the malchus, that is a vessel for the limud Torah. How do you seal the Torah in those who learn it, which is through fear, studying with bitl and a fear. Specifically through this, the Torah becomes a medicine of life. And so forth. That just like when we got the Torah, we got it with fear and trembling and so forth. So to now, when we study Torah, it has to be with fear and trembling and bittul. V'zehu v'ata Yisrael ma'Hashem shoel mimach kim lirachul. And this is what it says. What does Hashem, Yisrael, what does Hashem ask from you? Only to fear, because the fear is the vessel for everything else. Find avos to Rabbi Nasan sof pasha chavtes shali de med reshva gada yavuli de yira, that through medrash and agada you'll come to fear, that he brought before. Chachmas v'das Yiras Hashem, that the Yiras Hashem refers to the medrash and agada. The Chachmas and the das refers to Torah Shebechsav and Torah Shebal Peh. So in order to be Mekayim, the Torah Shebechsav and the Torah Shebal Peh, you need the agada and the medrash, which is the chosam and the fear of Hashem. So this is without in comparison to Moshe. The fear was a small thing. It doesn't say it's asking from Moshe, it says it's asking from you. That then it explains in Tanya that this refers to the Moshe that's in every single neshama. And we can say even further than this, and even more than this, Ki Torah tzivalanu Moshe, the Moshe commanded us the Torah. And it's called Remember the Torah of Moshe. So Moshe, in comparison to the Torah, in comparison to the level of Moshe, who commanded us the Torah, so that level in comparison to Zah, so Yiras Milsa Zutrasa, and if so, that through the Agada that comes from Moshe, you can come to fear. So the whole Torah is from Moshe Rabbeinu, including the Agada, so Torah Shebechtav and Torah Shebal Peh, in order to also have the fear. It's to study of Agada, so that also comes from Moshe. So in comparison to Moshe, it's a small thing because Moshe gave us the whole Torah. Like our sages said, that the luminary of the Torah brings him back to good, which seemingly here is more connected to Agada than anything else. V'hainu legabi Moshe milsa zutrasihu, that in comparison to Moshe, the Yira is a small thing. In comparison to Eisik Torah, so the concept of the Yira of malchus in comparison to the level of study of Torah of Zeranpin. So you can say it's like a milsa zutrasa lechein. So if Tavrakol Nishmes Elokim Yirachul, and therefore, in the end, we will all hear and fear Hashem, because that's the sof davar, which is the malchus. Nimsa, so it's found. Yesh kan bepasuk vaya Emunas Itecha zayin in yanim. So you have 7 concepts here within this pasuk of Emunas Itecha. Shish ahem shisa sedarim Mishnah. 6 of them are the 6 orders of the Mishnah. V'abechina zayin Yiras Hashem, and the 7th concept is that of the fear of Hashem. V'zeu ke'inyan amavor al pasuk sheva biyomil al ticha. And this is like the idea that's explained on the verse that I praised you 7 times. 7 times in the day I praised you. Shmizeh lamdu sheva brachos b'kriyah Shema. Then from this our sages learned about the 7 blessings of Shema. B'shachar mevarech shtayim lefanei achulu, that in the morning you should bless 2 blessings before Shema, and so forth. V'hainu shal yidei zeh nimshech yichud vav keshel Shem, that through this you draw down the vav of Hashem's name. Vav zeu vav bechinas emunas itecha chulu. That the 6, this corresponds with the 6 concepts of the Shisa Sedarim Mishnah and the pasuk Emunas Itecha, bechinas hashvi zeu bechinas hahei, and the hey of Hashem's name corresponds with the 7th idea, the hey, the fear of Hashem chulu. So that's the Vavke of Hashem's name is the 7 blessings of Shema, which correspond with this idea of the Shisha sedarim and malchus. And therefore the harp in the holy temple had 7 strings corresponding with these 7 levels, the Shisha sedarim Mishnah and the Yiras Hashem.